Hello YouTube, Bryce Mall here with the Templar and trying to get a sprocket installed, the 40 tooth sprocket installed, and I just wanted to show what I got. Um, Good news and bad news, but actually more good news than bad news. So when I got the sprocket, I thought it was going to be a dropping sprocket. Um, as far as I can I've been reading online on the forums and doing some measurements with these bolts here. I was able to determine the approximate measurement. Okay, and I say approximate because not all the sprockets are the same, and it's sometimes pretty hard to determine by just looking at a part number or descriptions or whatever you see. Let's say like on Amazon or the web, getting getting the correct sprocket. Okay, so with that said, I was able to determine the measurements from here to here. Obviously, I can just measure them with set of calipers or a ruler or whatever. But I figure, you know what? I'm just gonna take my best guess, and I went ahead and with my research and some forums that I read, I was able to determine that this particular JT sprocket would suit my need. Okay, now one thing I want to mention real quick before I forget it, this is an aluminum sprocket. Okay, not the best for street, and I say that because they tend to wear very quickly. But I was able to find that for like 20 bucks on Amazon, and I figured 20 bucks is really not a lot of money. It was free shipping. I got it really fast, and I figured for my experiment would just fit the bill. Okay, so with that said, I just wanted to go with the quick specs on the one I had before. I actually thought I had a 50 or a 52 possibly on this Templar, but they all seem to be different. Interestingly enough, I don't know why that is, but then again, who knows? But this one in particular, I know the chain is a 520, and it was a 520. I knew it when I got it compared to the other bikes I got. And then this one in particular is a 47 tooth. So I was able to clock in about uh, 30 miles an hour with the full throttle and the Navy carb I got, the setup. And I think I could push it a little more, maybe changing the jet or whatever. But 30 was comfortable, and I'm thinking that by dropping the the teeth on this particular sprocket, which I'm still in the process of retrofitting into this particular hub, and as you can see, it's already kind of like mounted there with the bolts all the way through, and I show there what I did to modify it actually. It fit pretty well, okay, and really good. It doesn't move. It's really well centered. I mean, I was able to measure here with a set of gauges, so it's pretty close to what it should be. It floats a little bit, but this was able to. The bolts were able to center it really nice. So all I wanted to say is that this particular one, you can look it up on if you're willing to take the endeavor or the step to actually do this to your bike or your Templar to make it quicker on the street. I would say I'm not going to recommend it yet because I haven't really tested it, and I don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, you name it. But I just wanted to show that it's possible. Okay, for 20 bucks, really you can beat it. I am going to put the part number. I mean, right there it is. It's a 42 black JTA 210. So I know they got different ones. I think they got a 38 or 45 or what have you. But like that one there, it's a 47. So I wouldn't go from a 47 to a 45. It's just too small of a difference. Okay, so this one is a 40. So I think it's gonna suit my need. It's gonna make the bike a little quicker, possibly even top 75 miles an hour. Who knows? Okay, so other than that, I just wanted to say that the actual tools that you need, okay, and obviously you have to remove the tire and the chain. I didn't realize this particular chain had the link brake, but I found that, so I was able to remove that just with a flathead screwdriver and a small hammer. Okay, and then to remove the shaft for the wheel, you'll need your 19 wrench or socket, and then for the other side, I actually use this particular socket. I think this is I think it's a 21. I think it is. This one here, it is a, can see it. It's a 22. So 22 millimeter. Okay, so you'll need a 22, yeah, 21, and a 19. Okay, so you should be able to remove that and then undo the chain and do all of that. So as far as the modification for this, all I had to do is to make the holes on the sprocket. Okay, because as you can see, this one came out pretty good, pretty fast. So I think one of them was kind of like pretty stubborn to put in there anyway, and then the other ones, you see, like this one came out pretty nicely, and that's got to do with the you see that one came out pretty nicely. That's got to do with the hole. Okay, now if you were to do this particular modification, okay, I'm not gonna stop the video this time. I'm just gonna go kamikaze on this one. These bolts are not threaded all the way. I'm just doing that because it makes it easier to take it out. Okay, just like that. And I'll show exactly what needed to be done. So basically, the way when I got it, I thought, like I said, that it was going to fit. That it was going to be a perfect fit. Okay, everything seemed to line up properly, and it did up to a certain extent. Okay, when it came to the actual holes, to these particular holes, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. They were not aligning, and what I mean by that is that they were just not. They were just not centered properly, okay, with each other. So what I mean is the between the sprockets. So the sprockets seem to align up pretty nice, but when I tried to put these bolts in there, okay, when I try to put these bolts in there, they just won't line up. Okay, the bolts themselves went okay on the sprocket when I got it. Let's see if I can get that out. Okay, so that was the stubborn one. This one should come out pretty nicely, but I guess not. It's gonna make me look bad. So let's see. So basically, I had to drill a larger hole on the sprocket. Now I was going to do it on the hub, but I chose not to do that. And the reason is that if I ever do decide to go to a similar sprocket or possibly even find the correct sprocket, I don't want to end up having to buy a wheel hub. Okay, so that you definitely don't want to modify that. Okay, so now as you can see, you see these holes. Let me just try to focus there a little bit. So those holes are, I would say they're big, or but they're really not. Truly, when you put these things, the bolt and the screw together, okay, the bolt itself has that countersunk, which is basically supposed to go there, and it's not going to go through. Now, you see how it ends. So what's going to happen is that you see the bolt there. What's going to happen is that the bolt itself is going to rest on the bottom. Okay, so even though it looks like it's just going to be a problem, but it's really not. Okay, this is aluminum, so it will flex a little bit on this side, and as you can see, it's pretty flat. Okay, so the way I had it, when I put it there, after I drilled all of the holes, and even see there's hardly any movement on the sprocket. So this main hole, it's actually pretty good. It's actually, you're not going to feel that on the chain. Now, what's going to happen is that the bolts themselves, since I did the holes here, it's going to line up with the bottom. All of the bottoms are going to line up really, really nice. And I'll just show you that. If they didn't, this bolt would not go through. Okay. And even if it did, the one on the other side won't go through. You see? So, and it did. So this one went through there. That one went through there. So now the sprocket itself is centered. You see how there's no play. Okay. And so when you install this thing, if you do decide to go this route, you will have to put the bolts in there without tightening them up. Okay, you will have to drive each one in there, sit this properly. You're gonna have to sit this tire flat and then put a wrench, okay, which in this particular case, for each nut that goes on this side, on this side right here, okay, since these are not threaded, or like the hubs are not threaded, which is what I thought. Once you put the nut back here, just make them snug, and then slowly, just like the wheel on a car, you're gonna go from one to the other, and then like in a star pattern, okay. And once you do that, this particular sprocket, even if it flexes a little bit, you are gonna be just fine. The only thing I need to check is the clearance on the chain, and the clearance on the chain, I believe, is going to be just fine, because it's going to be like on that number, if you could see it there, it's going to be right above it, so it's never going to touch the hub. Okay. This chain is really not that thick going in one direction, and I can actually, even I may be able to somewhat show what I mean. So I mean, you see how that link sits, so it's going to be right on top of those words, so it's really never going to touch the hub. Okay, so I think the chain is going to be just fine. I do have to remove I think I may have to remove like possibly 3 links is what I'm thinking is going to be. But once I do that, I'll note it on the video, on the description. I'll let you guys know the mod on this, which was actually really not as bad as I thought. As far as the tools, you're going to use a number 6 Allen for this, okay, and for this particular nut is going to be a number 12 millimeter wrench, and I have let's see, I have one of these. It has the little ratchet inside, which makes it really nice and easy to basically move it around from place to place. And you could get this at you could get a Husky set like this one here at Home Depot perhaps, and they're pretty cheap. And the same with the Allen wrenches. I actually like the Craftsman brand. You'll need a screwdriver, obviously gloves unless you want to get all full of grease, and for the chain you'll need one of these. Okay, so, and this will be to remove the links, to remove one of the studs there on the chain, to be able to remove the link and then put the this movable link in place later. Okay, so other than that, I mean, this should be pretty simple. I'm actually gonna tie everything up now. It's gonna be, I'm heading into the 5 p.m. and it's gonna start getting dark pretty fast. As far as I know, it's gonna get pretty dark pretty fast, like always here in Florida. So once I finish this, I'm gonna put it together, and I'll take I guess I'll make a second video or add to this one, which I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna stop this one and then add after I finish. Okay, and after that we'll call it a day and go into the next mod. Thank you guys.